Today we are reacting to another video about Sweden. I've heard so many amazing things about Sweden over the years, but I'm curious to see what fact surprises me the most. Let's watch together, guys.
During our time here on FTD Facts, we've learned a lot about many different cultures and people from all around the world. Countries that have had great and beautiful vast landscapes, and people that are always working for the greater cause. And one country that represents this is Sweden. So how's it going, guys? My name is Dave Wapple, and welcome to FTD Facts, the channel where we teach you guys everything about everything. Now today, we are looking at one of the most interesting countries, and one of my most favorite countries, and that is Sweden. And I don't like it just for its beautiful woman, but I like it for so many other facts as well. So for those who are joining us for the first time, this is a channel where we like to get into the comment section and really take recommendations from you guys. So feel free to leave a suggestion for a future FTD Facts video, and we're going to look into it. And actually, because of that, so many of you guys wanted us to do facts on this country. People like Resolute, Michael Gregory, Mosgard, and of course, many more of you guys, and we got to thank you all for recommending it. Now, with that in mind, considering we're talking about the beautiful country of Sweden, let me ask you this. Which country has the most beautiful people? If you guys say Canada, I'm just going to be, so honored, because, come on, really? Now, Sweden is a country that has an area.
You know, one thing I already know about Sweden is that it has a great reputation worldwide. They are known for their innovation, their quality of life, and their beautiful scenery. So I really want to see what fact surprises me the most in this video.
Of 450,295 square kilometers. And as of 2016, it is a population of over 9,995,400 people. And it is estimated that it is already at 10 million, which makes it the 89th most populous country in the world with a density of 23.1 people per square kilometer. And of course, before we get into the cool achievements of this country, we got to talk about Sweden's imports and exports. For example, according to the OEC, it has $159 billion in exports and $154 billion in imports. But Sweden is known for exporting machinery and electrical equipment, which makes up a majority of the exports, coming in at $44.8 billion. This is stuff like telephones, forklifts, you name it, they got it. But refined petroleum makes up on its own 6.9%, and its imports, well, the machinery also makes up 40.2%, with crude petroleum coming in at 7.2%. Now, when we hear of Sweden, we like to probably say, yo, these people speak Swedish. Now, this Northern Germanic language is a descendant of Old Norse language, but the crazy part is this wasn't an official language until the country recognized it on July 1st, 2009. But besides its language, Sweden also has some really cool traditions, especially during Christmas. For example, since 1966,
That really surprised me. Imagine speaking the language for centuries before becoming the country's official language. That really surprised me. In 2009, that's when the language became official. Wow, that one surprised me.
the town of Gävle has always put up a giant straw goat. And unfortunately, every single year this straw goat is always burnt down, and it's kind of a non-acceptable tradition. But funny part is, although they keep an eye out for vandals, if the giant goat is burnt down before December 13th, it is rebuilt for the holidays. Now, have you ever heard of the Ericsson Globe? It is a cool structure located in Stockholm. Originally, it was called the Stockholm Arena, and it is the large spherical building in the entire world. It has a diameter of 110 meters by 85 meters tall and can hold up to 16,000 people for spectacles and games. But that is really not the only thing that makes the Ericsson Globe really important. This is probably one of my favorite facts of all of Sweden that I've heard of so far, and the fact is that the Ericsson Globe represents the sun. And I never knew this, that Sweden is home to the largest scale model of the solar system in the entire world. Throughout the entire country, the solar system is represented. For example, you have Mercury being the Stockholm City Museum, Earth is represented for Cosmonova Riksmuseet in Stockholm, and as for Pluto, it's located all the way out in the Dellen Lakes in Delsbo. It's crazy, the model of the solar system takes up the entire country of Sweden. It's so cool. And because of that, Sweden takes great pride in its country.
You mean the entire country is used as a model for the solar system? That's impressive. Wow.
and because of that, it takes great care of its ecosystems and life. And to prove that, the country has 15 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, with one still on the consideration list. But one of the most interesting ones is the Strovgeotic Arc, which Sweden shares with many other European countries like Germany and Belarus. Now, this arc was inscribed in 2005, and the interesting thing about it, it was built in 1816 to 1855, and it was a series of chain triangulations going over 2,250 kilometers. And this was in order for scientists Frederick George Wilhelm von Struve to get an exact reading of how large the Earth actually was. Of course, when we talk about Sweden, we cannot forget about the famous Ice Hotel. A hotel that is completely made of ice, even right down to the cups that you drink out of. It was first constructed in 1990, and every year it's always been rebuilt when it gets cold. And the ice from the structure comes from the Torn River, and all the ice makes the structure over 64,600 square feet. I've always wanted to go there, but I think it's really expensive. Of course, one other
Wow, I've not heard about this. An ice hotel? Wow, that would be really freezing. I wouldn't even dare. Wow. But it sounds interesting. You guys, let me know. Would you try that? Will you try sleeping in an ice hotel? Wow. That would be really adventurous, but I'm not ready for that kind of adventure.
Fascinating thing about Sweden is that it hasn't participated in any wars in the last 200 years. This all happened after the Napoleonic Wars, which at the time Sweden had many conflicts with Russia. But the signing of the policy of 1812 was the beginning of its peace. However, the funny part is after the Cold War, Sweden has dropped its principle of neutrality, and although it is not mandatory among its people,
not participating in any wars for over 200 years is something every country would want to see. Wow. Peace actually promotes development, right? This is really impressive. I'm impressed by this one. 200 years without wars. This is impressive.
To this day, they still continue to lower its military might. But when it comes to the history of Sweden, its people have a great story. And one of the most famous stories is it is the first country to have a woman win a Nobel Prize for literature. This was Selma Lagerlöf, who was a teacher and writer. And not only was she the first woman to win for literature, she was the third woman to win a Nobel Prize in history. And let's not forget that since 1901, the country is the country that gives out the Nobel Peace Prizes each year in Stockholm, Sweden. But that's it, guys. Once again, we've learned a lot about a new country and its people. My name's Dave Walpole, and it's been a pleasure talking about Sweden. But before we get out of here, guys, we want you guys to leave a comment down there for future FTD Facts videos. And, of course, check out our other videos. But more importantly, check out our trailer for our new series called Speakeasy, which is a narrative mini-series about rum runners and bootleggers before Al Capone ever became big. But thanks for watching, guys. Sweden is one of my favorite countries, and we have just scratched the surface on this great country, a country that has led great contribution to the world and its development, a modernized country with a heavy history and culture dating thousands of years ago. This is Sweden, a beautiful country, a beautiful place where its people know that peace and wisdom are true strength.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this one, but I didn't know the Nobel Prize ceremonies were held in Stockholm. I thought they were held in Oslo, while the other ceremonies were held in Stockholm. You guys, let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Is that correct? That the Nobel Prizes are held in Stockholm? I think I read or I saw it in a video where the Nobel Prize ceremonies are held in Oslo, while the other ceremonies are held in Stockholm. You guys, let me hear your thoughts in the comments. I really enjoyed this one. Some of the facts that stood out for me were the giant Christmas goat. Actually, that was really a funny one. And do you think that's considered a tradition or vandalism? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Another thing that stood out for me was the long period of peace. Imagine going 200 years as a country without war. That's something every country will want to see. I'm so impressed by this fact I just learned today about Sweden. And another fact that stood out for me was the world's largest solar system model. That was really incredible. Sweden seems like a country that values innovation, quality of life, and history. This is really good. It's actually it's actually one thing I admire about them. They value culture, they preserve their culture very well, and I really admire that about them. And that's why Sweden is one of my favorite countries. Now, if you're from Sweden, let's hear some of the facts that were missed out in this video. And if you've ever visited Sweden, what impressed you the most? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications so you get updates when I post new videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.